Hey everybody, Brendan here. I kind of feel like the Hodge twins. Yeah, got a damn good show for y'all. Damn good show. Except I'm nowhere near as entertaining as them, but I try. So in today's video, this video is specifically for anyone that is dealing with bloating, chronic bloating, or even like acute bloating. So like some stomach distension, gas, flatulence. Basically, anytime someone is experiencing those symptoms, you might lean towards discovering what Fodmap foods are, because these foods can be very, very problematic for a lot of people. And I'm seeing this currently right now because in my existing cohort of students, now that we've reintroduced carbohydrates strategically, some of them are experiencing those symptoms that I just listed. A lot of gas, a lot of bloating, and they're asking why. And I said, well, some of these foods are a little bit higher in FODMAPs. So in today's video, I'm going to explain what FODMAPs are and how you, by learning this information, can potentially make changes right away and you'll see the benefits. So FODMAPs. What exactly are FODMAPs? They are fermentable carbohydrates. Again, they cause a lot of digestive disturbances. Some of these people will experience bloating, excessive bloating, even like burping, and gas coming from like the rear end. So what does FODMAP stand for? FODMAPs stand for Fermentable Oligosaccharides, Disaccharides, and Monosaccharides. So basically those are just forms of carbohydrates, complex and simple carbohydrates. So these carbohydrates, they've got short chains, and the short chain carbohydrates and the sugar alcohols, they don't tend to do well with individuals who have SIBO or IBS or low stomach acid or low pancreatic function. And so much that these carbohydrates, once they travel from the stomach into the small intestine, eventually into the large intestine, they cause gas, they ferment, they literally rot and putrefy in the gut. So when I'm working with clients who've got those symptoms, we need to address SIBO, we need to address stomach acid, we need to address pancreatic function. So if you are constantly dealing with bloating, digestive disturbances, and you're consuming FODMAP foods, and I'm going to explain which ones in this video, you might want to look towards making some changes. Stick with me to the end of the video because I'm going to give you a list of the top foods that you should consume, as well as some of the foods that could be causing you grief, most likely. So stick with me to the end. Okay, so before I give you the list of all of the contending foods that are probably making you feel upset and giving you digestive disturbances, I really need to teach first and teach you about what's going on the inside of your gut, what's going on with your whole digestive process. So first and foremost, FODMAP, it causes gas, and especially for people who are sensitive to FODMAP foods. So number one, fermentation. These foods, when they go into the large intestine, they're relatively undigested. And so we need to understand that these are pretty simple and even complex carbohydrates. And they first get broken down by chewing. And they first get broken down by the amylase in our saliva. Carbs don't get broken down in the stomach. They pretty much hang tight. And then once they reach the small and large intestine, mostly the large intestine, that's where the bulk of these carbohydrates get broken down, the soluble fiber and so forth. So the large intestine is where those carbohydrates serve as a food source for the bacteria that's living in there. And these bacteria, they basically ferment these undigested carbohydrates, which then in turn cause excessive gas. This gas is carbon dioxide, methane, and hydrogen. The accumulation of these excessive gases, they'll lead to bloating. They'll lead to discomfort so much that in some cases, they'll even make you have GERD or acid reflux. So first and foremost, this is why it's so important to just chew your food, because the amylase in your saliva is largely responsible for breaking down all of those sugars into more smaller absorbable molecules. So you got to chew your food. That's number one. Number two, osmotic effect. What does that mean? It means that FODMAP foods are osmotically active. means that they draw water from the intestines, and those attractive molecules, they sort of like, they retain water, and that can look like bloating for a lot of people. And so by adding that volume into your colon, especially right down here, then a lot of people they'll experience that gas, that bloating, that discomfort, as well as like even that hard tissue. And it's not fat, it's just bulk and it's inflammation in the gut. And so that leads to a lot of uncomfortableness, right? It's like I said, you've got that kangaroo pouch, and it's very, very cumbersome, and it's embarrassing. And a lot of women, like, they just can't figure it. They're like, I've got a good body, I'm feeling good, but I've just got this pouch. So a lot of times it's excessive gas in the colon. And as you know, it's pretty problematic. Okay, number 3, some individuals have a greater sensitivity to Fodmap foods compared to others. And so what that means is that even small amounts of carbohydrates can trigger some of these symptoms for a lot of people. And that's just because they've got SIBO or IBS, compromised digestion. So again, even though some Fodmap foods might be good for some people, and for others, they've got a challenge with it, this is why. This is exactly why. Some people just are too sensitive, and they've got so much of an imbalance of gut bacteria. They've got low stomach acid. They've got low pancreatic function. They've got dysbiosis, right? And each time they eat these foods, you've got these undigested food molecules entering into the gut, but at the same time, they're invading into the bloodstream, causing an immune response. And eventually, the body starts to develop a memory for the ongoing sort of ingestion of these foods, these undigested proteins and molecules. And the body recognizes those as antigens. So each time you consume those foods, your body's having an attack. It's attacking those undigested foods, as well as through collateral damage, your body's getting attacked as well. That's where you get like the systemic inflammation. Again, that's where you get that inflammation in that lower part of your abdomen. So I just want you to remember that. 4th part, I want to reiterate that when someone has IBS, for example, or SIBO, right, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or even elevated stress, they can't get themselves into a nice rest and relaxed state. So, spoiler alert, I got to tell you that there are record numbers of teenagers and young adults who are living at their parents' home. They have a job or they don't have a job. Record levels of stress. Okay. So whether you're working a 9 to 5 or you don't have a job or you're at school, stress comes in all different forms. And if you're stressed, you have a reduced ability to digest foods. So I just want to emphasize that, because I was actually just talking about this subject matter to my students. And if you're doing what you love, like if you really are doing what you love, you're pretty much going to dissolve stress. You're not going to have regular sort of stress. Whereas if you're doing something that's unfulfilling, you're going to be stressed. So it's just, I got to say that. Try to live a fulfilled life and you will be less stressed. So that being said, going to give you a list of foods that you should change. Try to get these out of your diet. And if this is relevant to you, then great. And if you feel as though that you want more, these are just guidelines, right? And this is why I've created my GFL course. This is why I've created my program where I've literally helped thousands of people all around the world to completely reset their digestive process, rehabilitate their gut. So these are the common foods that are likely causing you issues. Again, it's not a comprehensive list, but this is just a guideline, and it might be different from one person to the next. So what do we got? We got lactose-containing foods, milk, yogurt, and soft cheeses. If you're eating those and you got issues, you might want to eliminate them. All right, so fructose-containing foods, apples, pears, mangoes, even high fructose corn syrup. If you're eating any of those foods, might want to make some changes. Next, fructans, so wheat, including products like bread, pasta, so really all grains, onions, garlic, leeks, and then we've got galacto-oligosaccharides, so GOS, and these are legumes, beans, lentils, chickpeas. Notice those are also high in lectins, so those can be pretty problematic for a lot of people because they just react so much in your gut. And then finally, polyols. Those are like cherries, peaches, plums. Also, special note, really want you to stay away from sweeteners like sorbitol, mannitol, xylitol, aspartame, Splenda, NutraSweet. All of those things are so bad for not only your gut, but just for your brain, for your body. They're synthetic. They don't do any good. Just get them out of your diet. So if you stuck around so far, thank you. I appreciate that. Now I'm going to provide you with the list of the foods that you can eat that are probably not going to be too problematic. So if you're eating these foods and you're still dealing with issues, then I guarantee you've got some digestive problems, right? You for sure have lack of stomach acid. You've got a reduced pancreatic function. The pancreas is probably tired. It's overworked. Maybe you even got some insulin sensitivity. Maybe you don't have the ability to burn fat as easily as you do with glucose. So all of those things can be improved, contrary to maybe what your doctor or your specialist says that, oh no, you're destined for this for the rest of your life. And again, that's why I've created GFL, Gut Friendly Living. It is a 6-week gut restorative program where I literally hold your hand every step of the way.
And I want to take this opportunity to show you what's
the fundamentals of what it means to live a gut-friendly lifestyle, how to reset your stomach acid, how to rehabilitate your whole digestive process, all within a 6-week program. I've literally helped thousands around the world, and I've seen huge success stories. So if this is something that sounds familiar to you, I know that I can help you. This will help you, but if you want a lot more help, like really specific hand holding, then you might be interested in my program. Okay, so here's the list of the foods, literally right from one of my workbooks, that you can consume. So these are approved foods: chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, maybe a little bit down the road. If you are suspect that eggs could be a little problematic, I might suggest you take them out for a little while. Most people have issues with the egg whites, not so much the yolks. So just remember that. And then also ruminant animal meats. So animals that have more than one stomach, people tend to do really well with those. Carbohydrates. Now, strategically, you should be eating these in and around your workouts, but I'm just going to list them right now. So basmati rice, potatoes, not sweet potatoes. A lot of people seem to have issues with those. Obviously, remember you want to peel them. Carrots, zucchinis, chards, rapini. Those are all pretty good. You can eat those. Low FODMAP fruits, so berries, blueberries, raspberries. You'll do well with those. Lemon juice on food is okay. Pineapple if tolerated. Finally, dairy. You really shouldn't be consuming dairy at all unless you can get it raw. Then it's okay. In terms of nuts and seeds, almonds in moderation. Make sure that they're peeled if you can. Macadamia nuts, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. Sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, parasites absolutely hate them. So you can eat those as long as you don't have any issues with your colon. Like if you don't have like diverticulitis or gastritis, you may not do well with seeds. I wouldn't recommend it. In terms of fats and oils, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, ghee, all wonderful, good quality fats. And then beverages, water, just keep it simple. Maybe some red tea, maybe some green tea. And also, if you really want coffee, I would say you could probably have some reishi mushroom infused coffee. If you're interested, I can set you up with that. So remember, these are just guidelines. This is just sort of like an educational video for you. If you feel as though that this can help, amazing. Try to incorporate some of these. I guess I'll put a list. I'll just put this whole document in the captions below. But if you want to get even more depth and you want to dive deeper into this and you want to work with me, in order for you to do that, just click the link below. You can register for a free webinar. And then once you've finished that, then we can work together. Just click the registration and then we can get started as early as like now, whenever you want. So I hope this video added some value. Again, FODMAPs, if you've got digestive issues, probably look at the FODMAP list and reduce them and just try to stay away from foods that are high in FODMAPs. All right. Hope this helps. Talk to you in the next video.